What do we do in terms of a housing shortage? That they say
So
we're
there's
short
not
like 6 million
there's not
units.
a housing shortage. And housing is not unaffordable any more than it was for the last 80 years. If you look at the actual facts, there's actually at least as much housing now per person in America as there has ever been. So people don't usually know what they're talking about when they throw these things out. They just read like a CNN headline. In terms of housing unaffordability, not true. If you look at what it costs to rent a 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom apartment, as I'm just using that as an example, from 1930 to today, and you look at wages from 1930 to today, it is almost a perfectly correlated, similar line for the last 95 years in terms of how much it costs to rent a 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles or in America. So there's always talk about it's more unaffordable than ever before. It's actually not. It's actually the exact same and has pretty much followed. Wage inflation has followed rents. And by the way, people talk about, it's like a clickbait to say housing is so unaffordable. When interest rates are high, like they are now, of course, buying a house is, of course, more unaffordable to the wage than it was 5 years ago. So if people say housing has gone up the cost of housing has gone up 60% in the last 5 years. No, it hasn't. The value of a $500,000 condo 5 years ago in LA is worth $500,000 today. So it's gone up zero. The cost of buying it because interest rates are up means that it's going to cost more of your wages. That is a fake argument because when interest rates go down, did we fix the affordability problem? No, that's just another way of saying interest rates are up. That's not fixing the problem. That's the problem with trying to fix most things in America. It's just talking points. People yelling about things that they have no idea, like affordability and cost of housing. They don't really. If you go on ChatGPT and you spend 30 minutes asking it to analyze these facts, you'll actually learn that housing is as unaffordable today as it was for your grandparents.
Is this what ChatGPT told you?
I've actually, my brother and I did a full analysis on chat, about 30 minutes about this very issue because we wanted to learn. Nobody does that, unfortunately, but they just watch CNN and see a headline about unaffordability. They don't even know what it means. They're like, CNN doesn't even say, is this buying a place?
So
is it renting a place? You have no idea.
Here's how they compare it, is that they say it used to take 2 to 3 years worth of wages to purchase the average house, and now it takes 6 years to 10 years worth of wages to purchase the average house. And that's how they calculate the cost of living and the affordability index.
Well, first of all, the affordability index should be that is when you're talking about buying, that's interest rate dependent. So, for example, then according to that logic, you could say cost of housing has doubled in the last 5 years. But that's nonsense. That's interest rates have doubled.
Throughout the 70s and 80s, though, interest rates were 15%, but the cost of the house itself was like $150,000.
That's why you should use rental. That's why you should, because rents are not as tied to interest rates. So to me, I think the real question is, how much of the average person's wages does it take to rent a 2-bedroom, 1,000 square foot apartment in X city? That seems to be the more logical way to do it. And actually, there are arguments now that there are 2 people working in households, whereas 1 generation ago, 2 generations ago, it was just one, usually the man. So it was only one income. So there's an argument to say it actually cost more of someone's wages back then than it does today because there's usually 2 earners. But again, that's the thing. It gets so complicated and no one likes talking about complication. But the bottom line is there's not an affordability crisis. It is housing, renting a condos or renting an apartment is just as unaffordable today as it was for your parents, as it was for their parents, as it was for their parents. That's how similar it's been for 4 generations.
What about for the people who say that they should have a right to be able to buy something? Well, and that they don't want to be stuck
don't even get me
renting
started on entitlement. I mean, everyone thinks that they are entitled to the American dream when you're entitled to an opportunity to work hard and achieve the American dream. That's much different than just being entitled to the American dream. So I don't, my response to people who even use the word entitled is, no, you're not. None of us are. I mean, you're entitled to equal opportunity. I think that's a fair statement.
So, how much success in real estate right now when it comes to buying is due to strategy versus timing?
It depends on if you're going to hold long term. If you're going to buy long term, I don't think timing is important. Same with stocks. I don't think it matters. Like, I'm an opportunistic buyer in real estate. I'm an opportunistic buyer in the stock market. So I'll buy in a crash. And by the way, if you want to buy real estate and you're not going to hold it for 30 years necessarily, buy in a crash. Buy stock in a crash. Everyone always overreacts. So just wait for the next wave of lemmings to overreact.
Yeah. Speaking of being a contrarian investor to a certain degree, as I was speaking with a guy who was a prominent investor in San Francisco for the last 30 plus years, who said he believes now has never been a better time to buy in San Francisco. And he's actually making a ton of offers, and he's getting properties for 30 to 50% less than he could buy them for in 2018,
Commercial
2019.
or residential?
Both.
I
He's
don't
buying parking lots,
I don't disagree.
land,
I don't disagree.
properties, and he's like, this is the best opportunity for me, even though a lot of people are moving out, businesses are moving out, but like, this is the time you want to buy. And I almost look at this in LA because I've seen some of these deals that you were talking about. Like there was a 7-unit in Santa Monica that I saw for 3.5, and I thought it was worth 3.5, and it had sold years ago for like 3.8.
Yeah.
They're taking a loss on it. It's a great deal. It didn't sell after 6 months.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, at 2.8, if they take that, it's a killer deal. But they just didn't sell. So maybe now is a good time to buy into these places because everyone like us is overlooking it to a certain degree. I know you're still making offers, but like I would look at this and think, I don't want the hassle anymore. But it's a pretty attractive price, all things considered, today.
I agree with when people are not doing something is usually the time to do it. I don't disagree with that investor in San Francisco. I don't think it's a bad idea for the only thing that concerns me is I don't want to be dealing with the problems. I don't want to deal with the lawsuits. I don't want to deal with the phone calls. I don't want to deal with all the risks and insurance and tenant that goes on in owning a property. So for me, it's not worth it. 15 years ago, I had the hustle for that. Yeah, it's great for like a young person, and at 23 years old has some money, or 28 years old has some money, wants to invest in multifamily. I would buy it. I would go buy right now in LA. It's probably the best time to buy multifamily. I was
telling Jack about this.
And by the way, don't look at the returns right now. Look at the appreciation, because when interest rates go down, that $2 million 10-plex will be worth 2.5. So that's how you make money in multifamily, because you'll raise rents, but more importantly, the cap rate will be affected by interest rates.
If you've ever been denied a car loan, credit card, or even an apartment because of what's on your credit report, you are not alone. Most people don't even know what's hurting their credit score, let alone how to fix it. That is exactly where our sponsor DisputeBeast comes in. It's an AI-powered platform that helps you find and remove outdated or inaccurate items from your credit report fast.
We're talking things like late payments, old accounts and collections, or even accounts that don't belong to you. Not to mention, how it works is super easy. You connect your credit report and DisputeBeast scans it for negative marks that could be dragging down your score. Then it generates custom dispute letters tailored for your situation. No templates and no guesswork.
You could choose to just download the data and send it to the agencies yourself, or you can use their built-in mail service where they will literally handle everything for you.
It's honestly just really clean and simple to use, and it's built by experts.
So if you're ready to take back control of your credit, go to DisputeBeast.com/ICH today. There's also a link down below in the description, DisputeBeast.com/ICH. Guys, they will literally handle everything for you. If you're dissatisfied with your credit, they will do all of the research, let you know what's going wrong, and they will fight for you. DisputeBeast.com/ICH. Thank you so much to DisputeBeast for sponsoring this clip.